everybody, how we doing? Coming up on Flying Fluffy, the top 5 worst things Miami Dolphins have ever done on draft day. Draft's coming up, starting Thursday. Here we go. Alright guys, so we got the draft coming up on Thursday. Dolphins, we're all excited, right? Huh? Who's not excited? But I wanted to go through a little bit of history. Alright, I wanted to look back at some of the drafts, and I picked out 5 things that I felt, my personal opinion, were the worst things we've pretty much ever done. Now, tomorrow, we're going to have the 5 best things, okay? But for purposes of today, what we're going to do is we're going to leave out the obvious one, being Deion Jordan, okay? Everybody knows the whole story involved there, and there's just no reason to get into that and waste the top 5 spot on that. I got some pretty interesting things, some historical buff things that maybe some of you didn't even know, and so let's do it. Number 5, and number 5 is actually, these aren't individual picks all the time, okay? The number 5 worst thing, my opinion, that we've ever done, 2007, 2008, 2009. 3 second-round draft picks on quarterbacks. 2007, Beck. 2008, Henny. 2009, Pat White. Do I even need to say more? But no, wait, it does actually get worse. In 8 and 9, for Henny and White, we traded up. So we actually gave up more than just our first-round pick for those guys, which all pretty much... Henny, obviously, you can argue, turned out to be somewhat, a little bit, a mediocre backup. But the rest of the guys, out of the league, useless. And didn't Beck play baseball? Maybe I'm remembering that wrong. I don't know. Somebody will correct me. All right, so that was number 5. Now, number 4, this one, some of you are going to say, wait, what? All right? This one really got me. It's something I probably already knew, but had forgotten I'd known. Okay, you guys are, when you're over 40, you'll know what I'm talking about. All right, number 4, in 1971, in the 4th round, we drafted Joe Theismann. Say what? I know there's some of you saying, really? We did? Wait a minute. Wait, what? Exactly. So, look, we drafted Theismann. But what happens? He doesn't want to play for us. He goes and plays for Toronto for a few years, I think 3 years. And in 74, we actually traded him to Washington for a first-round pick. So, not a bad return. We used the 4th, we got a first-round pick. However, any quarterback that you trade that later comes back and beats you in the Super Bowl, yeah, all right? So, not good on our part. I mean, obviously, 71, you're drafting a guy. He doesn't want to sit behind Greasy and Morrow. Okay, so he goes to Toronto. And, technically at the time, it probably didn't look like a bad deal. You trade the guy, you don't have any use for him. But when he comes back and beats you in the Super Bowl, even though it was Riggins that really beat us, still, technically, it's got to go on the list. Number 4, worst things we've ever done. All right, moving on. Number 3. Where are we? This one, again, this is another group. And this is, my opinion, this really kind of helped Marino not win a Super Bowl. Okay? So we're going to go with 3 years again. We're going to go 87. We're going to go 88. And we're going to go 89. And we're going to go first-round draft picks of those 3 seasons. Bosa, Kumro, and Sammy Smith. Ay. Who remembers sitting there yelling, Sammy sucks? I remember. I did it. You did it. We all know somebody who did it. How many fumbles in the 4th quarter, right? And then Kumro and Bosa, let's just not even get started. And we could go on and on and on about the 80s defensive end linebacker guys. In fact, there's one more coming. But that trio of first-round picks, when you got Marino in his prime, it didn't help. That's to say the least. And then Sammy Smith, what do we got, Bosa and Kumro were both the 16th pick in the draft, and you get nothing out of them. And Sammy Smith, we took at 9, number 9. And 3 years, And then he went to Denver, I think, for like 2.5 games, and he was done. So definitely one of the worst things Dolphins have ever done. Please don't do anything stupid like that again. But we're going to move on now to number 2. And what do we got? Yatil Green. I hate to rank on the guy being a UM guy, and I'm not really ranking on him, right? And in hindsight, drafting him, he had the talent. It was obvious to everybody that he was going to be a top guy, okay? If you don't remember, 97, 15th pick, we take Yatil, and everybody's thinking, hey, Marino's got a guy now. And, he's the first. He's going to really be the speedster to go with O.J. McDuffie. And boom, first day of camp, dude shreds his leg. Tore a quad muscle, busted up his knee, done for the whole season. So, okay, things happen, right? But then things get a little bit fishy. Because what we did in 98, because we thought, well, Yatil's going to come back, okay? So, this is a lot of numbers here, but so in 98, because we felt we had Yatil coming back and we didn't need a wide receiver, we traded, we had the 19th pick, okay? We traded it to Green Bay for the 29th and then a second, all right? Doesn't sound so bad, right? Okay, however, we could have had Randy Moss.
Yo, Rock, the hell with football. I'm buying a hockey team.
So now we have, Yatil Green eventually, and no Randy Moss, all coming from, 2 first-round picks. And it's not good. The second-round pick we got from Green Bay, we turned it into Patrick Surtain. That helps a little bit, okay? But with our first-round pick that year, John Avery, all right? Seriously. So instead of Randy Moss, we got Yatil Green and John Avery and Patrick Surtain. I guess if you want to couch it that way. But, dude, instead of coming back, obviously, Green, training camp, in the second year, busts his knee again. And then he came back the next year and he wasn't the same. And that was it for him. I think he had like 18 catches or some number like that. So, feel bad for the guy. And the move at the time to draft him specifically obviously was pretty good. But the residual effect of him getting injured and us banking on him that second year led us to not get Randy Moss. And then Green turned out to be just physically a bust. And so just brutal. And almost could have been number 1 if it wasn't for number 1, the worst thing the Dolphins have ever done. Now, again, we're not going to talk Deion Jordan, and it's subjective, right? This is my opinion. I went back, I looked at all the drafts, and I said, I kind of did it with production versus what we gave up for him. And one thing that you don't think of this guy as like a horrible, worst player we ever had, but when you look at the production versus what we gave up for him, it's staggering. It's almost up there with Deion Jordan, and that is the number 1, 1984, our first-round pick, Jackie Shipp. Some of you are saying, wow, how bad could this have been? Well, I didn't remember this. I was a kid, right? So, apparently, we took Jackie Shipp, first round, 1984. All right? He played in 71 games for us. He had 1 interception and 1 sack. But here's where it gets fun. To take Jackie Shipp, all right, we traded the 26th pick in the draft and 2 third-round picks to Buffalo just to move up to get Jackie Shipp, who ended up with 1 sack and 1 interception. That is a lot to give up for a guy. Matthias is knocking at the door. That's a lot to give up for a guy who basically turned into nothing. So I would really love to hear what you guys think as far as difference of opinion, all right? Other players. I mean, there's plenty of busts, right? But I didn't want to go into the 3rd and 4th and 5th round draft picks, obviously, except for Theismann, because when the guy comes back and beats you in the Super Bowl, kind of makes you wonder, or not wonder, why the Patriots won't trade a guy like Garoppolo. So, all right, guys. So tomorrow, we're going to have the top 5 best moves, in my opinion, the Dolphins have made on draft day. And kind of like we did today, we're not going to talk about Marino because, duh, right? Okay, so thanks for watching, and go Dolphins.